within Kiambu County, jointly with others not before court, you aided Africa Spirits Limited to commit a tax offense, namely fraud in relation to tax control section 97A of the Tax Procedures Act 2015 by unlawfully concealing 882 reels of counterfeit excise stamp with intention to be used to evade payment of the requisite tax. Humphrey?
Not true, Your Honor.
Stuart?
I deny, not true, Your Honor.
Simon?
Not true.
Wow, Beverages?
Not true, Your Honor.
Plea of not guilty entered in respect of the accused persons on their respective counts.
Your Honor, may I seek your guidance? We have 3 matters for plea taking.
Yes.
Do we move our application for bail at this stage, or do we wait to take plea in all the 3 files?
Yeah, just move it in this and each of the files.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your
Sit
Honor,
down. Yes.
Your Honor, on behalf of the first accused, we apply that he be released on reasonable bail terms on the 9th of August 2019. Your Honor issued summons to appear today. The prosecuting authorities, the director.
Those are the proceedings in court. Currently, Humphrey has denied all 9 counts of tax evasion, so we shall keep interacting with that event in the course of this show to appreciate what will be coming forth from the courts in as far as this case is concerned. Now, revisiting our top story of the hour, it's all about the demise of Kikuyu Benga musician, that is John DeMatthew. And just to take a tweet before I hand you over to Murang'a County, Ken Mfalme says, I have always loved Jata Eakwa by John DeMatthew, a song in which Murang'a County Women Representative Honorable Sabina Chege acted as John DeMatthew's wife. You will be missed, legend. And that is the home of John DeMatthew, that is Murang'a County, and would like to bring in our correspondent from that region. His name is Alfred Minor, who is currently at the home of John DeMatthew for an update on how the family is taking in the news on the demise of John DeMatthew. Thank you for joining us, Alfred. Kindly give us an update in as far as this story is concerned.
Asante sana Samuel Njoroge, tuko upande wetu wa studio na kupata vizuri kutoka eneo bunge la Katanga, soko la Katunyo, ambapo tumeungana na wenyeji ili kuweza kupata kuelewa maisha ya John DeMatthew ambavyo imekuwa. Na hapa nina mheshimiwa mmoja kutoka kaunti ya Katanga, kutoka eneo bunge hili la Katanga, aweza kutupa maelezo zaidi.
Asante sana. Kwa majina naitwa Joseph Ndwati Nguge na mimi ndio MP wa hapa Katanga. Na leo, siku ya leo tumekuja hapa kuomboleza na wananchi wenzangu. Maana jana usiku tulipoteza kijana tunapenda, mwanamuziki hodari kutoka sehemu hii ya Kenya, anaitwa John DeMatthew. Na ni kijana alikuwa amependwa sana hapa. Maana muziki yake ilikuwa hodari sana. Maana John alikuwa anaweza kuimba kutoka saa 1 mpaka saa 8 ya usiku na watu wako katika dance floor. Hapa Kenya hatuna mwanamuziki kama yeye. Na kwa hivyo tulipopata na hiyo maneno, tuliona ni maneno yametuletea huzuni, na ndio tukafika hapa tuomboleze. Tumekuwa tukisaidiana na John kwa mipango mingi sana. Hapa kama vile Wakenya wanajua, cash crop yetu namba 1 hapa ni muziki. Tunasema cash crop ya Katanga si kahawa ama majani, ni muziki. Na tunajulikana Kenya mzima. Na kwa hivyo tumekuwa tukisaidiana na John mipango ya kusaidia vijana wetu. Tulikuwa na mipango ya kuandala talanta mashinani. Na pia tumekuwa tukipanga na yeye Katanga Night pale Carnival. Na tumekuwa kama watu wa Katanga tumekuwa na uwezo wa kujaza Carnival. Wakenya wanakuja kutoka sehemu mbalimbali kutumbuizwa na waimbaji wetu. Na tuko na wengine wao hapa kama DK, na walianza pamoja na DeMatthew na amekuwa wakiimba pamoja. Yeye ndiye alimuonesha hii kazi. Tuko na mwimbaji mwingine anaitwa Wamombe hapa, na kwa hivyo hii sehemu na hapa Gatunyo hapa tuko ndio inajulikana kabisa kwa muziki, na kwa hivyo kwa niaba ya familia yangu, watu wote wa Gatanga tunataka tutume rambirambi. Na hapo asubuhi tulikuwa na Governor Mwangi wa Iria, na Governor Mwangi wa Iria amesema county government ya Murang'a itatusaidia kwa katika mpango ya mazishi. Na pia tulikuwa na PS Karanja Kibichu, nikamuuliza kwa sababu John alikuwa anajulikana Kenya mzima na amekuwa akisaidia hata chama cha Jubilee. Ile wakati president alikuwa anafanya campaign, John aliongoza hiyo campaign yake kama ile uchaguzi ya pili. John alikuwa pale mbele na akasaidia chama cha Jubilee. Kwa hivyo ningependa niombe rais na serikali itusaidie kwa vile amejitolea kama Mkenya na akafanya kazi mzuri. Na kwa hayo machache nimesema asante.
Ambavyo umesikia Samuel Njoroge ni kama huyu ni kiongozi kutoka eneo bunge la Gatanga hapa, na tuweze kupata maoni ya mwenyeji, na labda tueleze ule wimbo ambao anaupenda zaidi na maybe anaweza tugusia kidogo.
John addition DK. Alafu DK yuko hapo.
Kwa majina naitwa Kigari the King, na tunaomboleza kwa sababu ya huyo muibaji. Hata sisi ni wa Christian, huwa anatupea motisha juu ya mapenzi. Mara mingi anaongelea kuhusu mapenzi, ukiacha venye unaweza fanya. Yaani muibaji ni venye atumii lugha wengi wanasikia anatumia yetu ya Kikuyu. Kwa hivyo naweza sema tumeachwa hadi sisi wa Kodino ni kusikiza tu juu hizo zake. Huwezi sema ni nyimbo za aibu, nyimbo za kutupea motisha kwa vijana. Kwa hivyo alikuwa anatusaidia. Naweza tu uliza serikali kwa sasa DK Junior ameachwa akiwa muibaji mwenye mzee huku, tu muangalie na jicho mzuri ndio mambo yake iende sawa. Juu huku tumeachwa, sasa tumeachwa na mmoja. Huyu mmoja tu angaliwe na serikali juu ya mambo, tuangaliwe tu asiisi na hivyo tu wameisha au wengine juu ya dereva tu. Apewe dereva, apewe gari yake, asifanye nini. Kwa hivyo mimi nashukuru na nitaongea tu hiyo machache.
Ni wimbo gani wake bibi unapenda, unaweza tugusia kidogo tafadhali?
Sasa wimbo yake napenda, yenye ndiko napenda ni yenye huwa naimba hii nikusaona sawa, lakini tu acha tu niache tu imepotea.
Naam, sawa. Haya, asante. Acha tuungane na mwanamuziki ambao ni mashuhuri kutoka eneo hili, ambaye pia ameweza kumfunza John de Mathew mambo mengi katika ulingo wa muziki.
Jina yangu ni Daniel Kamau Mwai, lakini kimuziki watu wengi wananijua kama DK wa Maria. Nina huzuni sana nikisema nimepotewa na mwanamuziki ambao alikuwa anajulikana Kenya hii yote. Kuna wakati nilikuwa peke yangu Gatanga, lakini Mungu amesaidia, kuna wanamuziki wengi sana. Sitaki kusema ati hatusaidiki. Mambo ile ingine ningetaka kusema ni wale wanamuziki wako nyuma yetu. Muangalie kama kazi hiyo ilikuwa inafanywa na Demethio na wanamuziki wale wengine, na wazazi wetu wasione muziki kama ni mambo ya bure. Kunaonekana zamani wakati wetu, ukiwa unataka kuwa kwa muziki, ukionekana tu na gitaa, watu waliona kama wewe ni mkora. So tuna huzuni kupoteza Demethio, lakini ya Mungu hatuwezi kuuliza Mungu kitu. So tutakaa hivyo tugojee ni vipi, but wanamuziki wengi wako. Serikali yetu itatusaidia. Nafurahia kuna wakati hivi karibuni John aliongea juu ya ile pesa tulipewa na MCSK. Hapa ni kidogo sana. 2,530. Na uangalie mtu kama DK alianza kuimba miaka 50 years ago. So ningeuliza hata president wetu angalie hiyo maneno. Ni hayo tu.
Asante. Na Samuel, kama ambavyo umesikia ni kwamba huyu ni mmoja wa mwimbaji kutoka eneo hili, na ameweza kutuma malalamishi yake kwa serikali ili aweze kuangaliwa mambo yake. Na pia tumeweza kusikia baadhi ya maoni ya wananchi kuhusiana na maisha ya John de Mathew. Kwako Sam.
Thank you so much, Alfred, I beg your pardon, Maina. who is our correspondent in Muranga County for that update. Indeed, that is the home county of the late John De Matthew, and we've seen residents, politicians, as well as fellow musicians weigh in on this particular demise that has hit that region in a rather, hard way, because it's not like he was ailing. It's not like he had a threat to his life. He just came from a performance, succumbed to an accident, and it raises questions even moving forward about the state of art and music in the country, courtesy of even tweets that we're receiving here of people who feel he's being eulogized as a legend now that he's dead, but when he was alive, very little was done to put him at the pedestal where he deserves. But right about now, let's continue with our conversation on the judiciary, and the question was, gentlemen, and I'd like to come to you, Mike, on this. Have we ever held the judiciary at ransom, victimizing it because of one reason or another?
Coming to the last general election, 2017, we know that there was a presidential petition. And that presidential petition was ridiculed. That petition made many politicians in this country, including the president himself, cautioning and calling Justice Department names. And when the presidential petition did not go, went against the president and his party, it was not very easy. And there were a lot of threats and a lot of intimidation by the politicians, including Majority Leader Duale in Parliament. This was to paint the Supreme Court in bad light, and not only the Supreme Court in bad light, but as well as the other judicial arms of, levels of judicial system in this country. When you find a president of a nation ridiculing and threatening the judiciary and saying, well, let's wait until when this court case is issued and then they will know who I am, that in itself negates the independence of judicial system. It negates the independence of the arms of the government that are supposed to work with great freedom and independence, make decisions on their own. But remember that these threats sometimes also can trickle down into other consequences. And we know that soon after that, when Parliament went into session, the first thing they did was to cut the cost of the judiciary. And when they did that, the judiciary was stuck. It was stuck with less judges and magistrates. It was stuck with less research employees to be hired. It was stuck with lack of extension to the other places. Remember some that in Kenya, still judges are recording every word by word from the witnesses, from the lawyers, from everybody. Like, you got to allow the judge to write everything. And you're wondering, BBI team just came the other day, and they have a Hansard in their backyard. I mean, if we do not want to work and enhance the activities in the judiciary, then we are shooting ourselves on the foot.
Okay, gentlemen, let's return to the courts and listen into the case where businessman Humphrey Kariuki is being charged with tax evasion. So let's cross over there and listen into the case.
When the 8th accused was closed, as you speak, he lives in my house. He needs to go home with his family. That's so long.
Yes, Mr. Commander.
You are going to say something? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
In respect of the night at this person.
Yes.
Before that this person was able to release on bond and cash flow. And he has obliged with the conditions. He behalf of the 9 accused, and there are no special circumstances to impose any more bond and cash bail conditions.
Yeah, and at this particular hour, the story that will form a part and parcel of our discussion right here in studio is the judge's annual colloquium that is currently ongoing, and Chief Justice David Maraga, who's president of the judiciary, is presiding over this event. So we're simply looking at some of the issues, emerging issues that have been over time when it comes to the judiciary and the manner in which it discharges its mandate. Does it have total independence? Does it relate well with other arms of government? And gentlemen, there has been a question that has been posed over and over and over again. Should lawyers be members sitting in the Judicial Service Commission? Dennis.
Well, I believe that if we look into the totality of judicial reforms and poke holes and see whatever it is, I think the greatest question is not a matter of the expediency based on practice and who sits where. Mm-hmm. The current conversation with the judiciary is a question of integrity. And I remember somebody saying that, and actually, you actually also mentioned it in the show, yes, and you say, are they just victims of circumstances or what exactly? But there's a tragedy of iniquity and transgression. Is that when you're born into evil, you practice evil. You never know the way of righteousness. So based on the fact that this is a Kenyan judiciary, then are they also born into evil and therefore they practice evil? But I think the greatest question is that the judiciary doesn't work on an island. Is that the reforms, for example, we are going to an election here very soon, is that we still haven't gone through electoral reforms.
So far. And then it informs the...
And then it informs that.
But just hold that thought, kindly. Just hold that thought and bring in our reporter, Baraka Karama, who joins us live from Kisumu County with an update from that region. Baraka, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Kindly bring us up to speed with what's happening in Kisumu County.
Some will remember the issue of the Building Bridges initiative versus the Punguza Mizigo, of course, has elicited mixed reactions. And, of course, members who are opposed to the BBI are saying that it is not anchored within the law. And, of course, that has also seen quite a number of leaders coming to support the Punguza Mizigo initiative. Remember, the party leader for the Third Way Alliance is currently going in various county assembly just to try and marshal support ahead of the expected referendum after that. But of course, we have also seen the party leader for the ODM, Raila Odinga, coming, talking tough about that particular initiative, of course, urging his supporters to reject that particular bill. And he says that Kenyans should be ready to get recommendations from the BBI and, of course, chart the way forward after that. So remember, this particular region is always the political backyard of the opposition chief, Raila Odinga. And we also expect that Dr. Ekuru Court will also visit various assemblies within this particular region. So, Samuel, at this point in time, it will be proper for me to get views from the leadership of the Kisumu County Assembly and a cross-section of the residents in regards to that particular issue. And joining me on set is the Deputy Speaker for Kisumu County Assembly, Roy Samu. Kindly, first, I'll start by asking you, there's some people who are saying that BBI is not anchored within the law. What is your take about that and the stand of the Kisumu County Assembly?
Thank you very much, Baraka, for giving us this opportunity to air our views live to the people in this nation so that they could hear what we are talking about. I want to say that the BBI is an initiative that was born through the relationship between the President and the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, when they decided to bring a team from all sources of this country, people of good repute who could be able to look into the issues that has been affecting Kenya. Remember, BBI is about the hills that have been affecting this nation for years. So the Building Bridges initiative was born out of some of the things that Kenya has gone through. So in his wisdom, the president and the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga decided to bring up a team together, and the team was gazetted, so it is legal. And remember, the team has got a budget of about 100 million, and they're collecting views from all parts of this country. They have gone to all the 47 counties so that they can see what the people are talking about and what kind of system of government they want. Remember, Baraka, that Kenya, at some point, we were talking about the Kilifi draft and the Amos Wako draft some few years ago before the 2010 constitution. But some of our friends, like the side where the deputy president comes from, they said, well, the Katiba is bad, but let us just pass it. We will make some amendments. And they were opposing side. But then there were the side of the Raila Odinga and the rest of Kenyans who had agreed that let us just pass the constitution. So while there were ills, there were some shortcomings that were not met by this constitution. So that is why the BBI, out of the initiative by the president and the prime minister, they've decided to come up with a team to collect the views from all parts of this country, so that we can see what are the successes and the failures of this constitution. And I think
we've seen Dr. Kirokot going around various county assemblies. You, as one of the leaders of the Kisumu County Assembly,
thank you.
Is he welcome?
Barak, I want to be very honest that before the BBI came very forcefully, we were talking about the Punguza Mizigo and we were in support of Okuro Court. And let me be honest, on Wednesday this week, Bomet County has gazetted Wednesday. They are going to sit to discuss about this Punguza Mizigo bill. Remember that Nakuru has passed it, and Kwale is on the way, and quite a number of counties, including Kisumu, Homa Bay and Siaya, were very positive towards this. Why are we saying so? The Punguza Mizigo is about bringing resources back to the county, and I've talked about this several times when you've given me the opportunity to address people through K24. I've always told the people that we need the resources back onto the ground, because under Schedule 4, quite a number of functions that were being done by the national government were devolved to the counties. You talk about health, you talk about education, you talk about agriculture, which are the backbone of this nation. So I'm saying that Punguza Mizigo is not illegal. It has been okayed now by the courts. Let the people decide. But at some point, all of us were towards that idea. But when our party leader did talk to us, and in fact, when he was in Turkana 2 days ago, he did tell us to just wait for the BBI, what the recommendations they have. And I want to tell you, if the recommendations are not going to be favoring us, we are not going to pass the BBI thing. But if it's going to favor us as the people who are in the locality, people who are coming from the villages, who know what the people are suffering from, we are going to give the support to the BBI. But if it is not going to address fundamental issues that we are talking about, and we are going to support the Punguza Mizigo, because it's going to bring the resources, about 35% of the GDP to the ground. So that is my take. We are also with you. We are looking and we are watching at what people say, and maybe other residents could be able to say something on the same.
Maybe because of time we won't be able to take more reactions. Of course, you've had the leadership of the Kisumu County Assembly saying that they looking onto that particular bill, and of course they'll be able to make a decision on whether to support it or not. So of course, Samuel, it's a mixed reaction in this particular region as far as that particular issue is concerned. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Baraka Karama, for that update live from Kisumu County, which quite literally concludes the daily brief for us this day. Yes, today we kept it short and sweet. 1 hour precisely. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure engaging you on various issues that have been touching the nation in one way or another. Key among them, the death of John DeMatthew, who is actually known as John Nganga Mwangi, son of Matthew, and therefore the DeMatthew part. And 375 songs later, 50 albums to his name. His last address at Metrofield petrol station in Thika yesterday, where he actually called on artists to exercise humility and be in a position to interact, amicably with other artists within the industry so that it's able to grow. He also called on the expansion of the executive and amendment to Chapter 9 of the Constitution. But we need to wrap this up right about now. My name is Samuel Njoroge. Our condolences to the friends and family of the late John DeMatthew. I'll see you tomorrow for yet another edition of the Daily Brief. Have a good morning and a fantastic day ahead.